So guys, excuse the hair and all that stuff, but today's little task, we're going to try and add one of these little screens. It's basically kind of like a wind deflector for a motorbike, and it goes on the front of here. Obviously there's a VL plate at the moment, but the plan is just to move the L plate and put the L down on here. Now, I'll be honest with you, when I bought this very, very cheap off Aliexpress, it's supposed to go in here. Looks nice. I've seen a couple of pictures of it, but there's no instructions whatsoever. Because apparently you have to take the front of the headlight off and these indicators off, and basically what it does is you've got these little grooves here and they go on to the side of the indicator stalks, but what you have to do is remove this section. Inside you've got two bolts holding the indicators off. You've got to loosen them up so they can come out a little bit, put it on, then tighten it back up from the inside for it to fit. That's from what I've seen in a couple of other pictures, but there's no instructions whatsoever, so this is going to be basically a trial and error, see if it works, see if it doesn't. So one which I've got, I believe it was about £15 on AliExpress. Gone for the blacked out look. You obviously get your bolts and give the two brackets on here as well. So you got your brackets on here, your 4 bolts on either side, 2 bolts on either side, come with your little rubber gaskets. But then that's it. Apparently, so we have to take these 2 hex bolts out on the top here, and then underneath, if you can see, there are these 2 here. So like I said, what I'm going to do is just take these 2 bolts out at the top first, which I believe holds the dash on. So obviously this is a brand new bike as well. There's not many videos on the 2026. That's one of the reasons why I want to try and film everything I do with this bike, because I've had a lot of bikes, a lot of cars, and I always used to forget to film stuff, and then I'm always like, well, if I don't know what I'm doing, I always look on YouTube, but if no one else has got the video, you're kind of buggered. If I can get a video out of you which helps people out, then all good. So it's usually a hex one, but I'll be honest with you, on hex heads, I always use Torx bits. People are saying not to use them. I always use them because you always seem to get a lot more purchase in there. Yeah, it seems to come out a lot better. So I've undone them. What I'm going to do now is on your indicator stalks, you've got these 2 little screws here. I'm going to remove those first. Very, very small screwdriver bit, which I just untake these screws out of here. One on the top, one on the bottom. And then these literally just pull apart. And then you can see, you've also got your set. These are literally just like a protector which goes onto them. Exactly the same on this side again. Just take the 2 screws off. Like I said, what we're trying to do is get to the back so we can just move this up a little bit. And hopefully the new screen should fit on. Obviously I'm going to have to take this off and take the double-sided tape off, which is behind it. Should come off here. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. It seems to be attached. Yep, there you go. So it comes off. Now obviously you've got all your cables behind it. Try not to pull too much. And all we want to do is there's basically 2 nuts inside we want to undo. You've got, on this side here, you've got a little golden brass nut which holds the indicator on. It's actually 17mm. Can't believe that's quite a big bit. What I would do is, because you need to get to this side and that side, I would take the connector off and take this connector off just so you're not trapping any wires. Yeah, just pull that down, pull this side down, just move the wiring out of the way. Obviously remember that's the right hand side, this is the left hand side, and then you can get to the actual bits a little easier. You can take all the brackets off and the bolts off if you want to, but there's no need. We just need to loosen them up a little bit. So basically what we're wanting to do is on this side here, you've got the little brackets. So I'm thinking I'm going to have to bend these in a little bit. Right, so it's a little bit tricky to do, but what we have to do is this bracket has to go in between here. Has to slide down. Put that in there. And then the same on this side again. Just get a little bit of space. Pull that out. Pull this in here till it's down to the bottom. Basically what we're doing is making sure that this is all lined up perfectly, which it is there. Adjust the indicators, so obviously they're still going to be forwards, facing the right angle that you want them to be on. Once they're on, all we have to do now is tighten the nuts at the back again, and then it's on. Right, so once they are tied and back on, it's loose, it's all nice and tight, nice and snug, it's not going anywhere. These obviously nice and straight where we want to be as well. Now what you want to do is obviously plug the right side of the left hand side connectors back on. So these literally should just slide onto place. So after about 10 minutes of realigning, the thing I would say is put the top bolts in first. So you have to lift it quite high up, put the top bolts in loosely, just so that they're holding it in place. Once you've got that lined up, then you can then push the bottom side down, then line up with the holes at the bottom. But take your time doing it and you will get there in the end. So now we've got the top bolts and the bottom bolts in. As you can see, there's still a gap to sew them loosely. You just want to obviously use a proper tool for this. But now you know about doing, you're not cross threading. Just nip them up both sides. But again, nip the top up, and then literally what I would do after that is check your lights are working, turn it on, bolt head lights are working, check your indicators are working still. So now we've got all those sorted, all I want to do is go around and make sure everything's all nipped up, what it should be as. So obviously top two, make sure they're at the right setting. If you want to talk, you can talk, and it's not really bothered. Make sure they're tight. I've worked on enough bikes and cars to know. But that's the top two done. Bottom two done again. Make sure they're nice and nipped up. Make sure they're not going to vibrate and rattle off. Again, exactly the same in reverse. Put the back side on first, the front side, clip them together, and then you've just got your small little screws. Put back in. So there you go, guys. That is everything all nipped up. All the bolts nipped up. All the screen bolts at the top, the indicator bolts. Everything is done. And I don't know if you agree, but I think it adds quite a nice little look to it. Quite a nice aggressive look with styling. So obviously it's supposed to help with the wind deflection as well. But the added bonus is when you're driving, it is also a bit of sunshade on the screen as well. Just realised I've got my actual screen protector on. I need to take that off because there's bubbles everywhere. But yeah. Nice little screen protector, makes it slow, it's got like a bit of sunshade. I think it's a nice aggressive look, like I said. And we will soon find out if it does actually deflect the wind over here a little bit better. I know that you can get bigger screens on Aliexpress as well, around the same price, but I don't like the big screens. If this does the job, then in my eyes it's worked perfect. So yeah, if you've got any questions, guys, if you need some information or any help, let me know in the comments below. I know that there is another version of this that's around the same price, and it's easier to connect because it connects straight onto the handlebars here. So there's two basically bars that come across and connect onto this side. But I think this is more of a cleaner, aggressive look, especially for what I'm going for on this bike. Yeah, like, share, comment, subscribe, guys. Any questions, let me know. If there's anything you want to see on the bike or any questions about anything as well, let me know below, because I will be doing videos on literally everything.